Hey everyone, back with another What Sold video, this time for January sales. If you watched my last What Sold video, it was for all of December, and I talked a lot about Aloha Collection. My first sale of the month was on January 2nd, and it was this Aloha Collection backpack. Hanaho is the print, Keep It Light backpack is the type of item that I bought, and then Cream on Dune is the color. This one sold for $50. My order earnings was $40. My cost of goods was $31 and my net profit was $9. This is actually the last item I have from my order in November. I tried to arbitrage this, and so if you are here for this, then I will go over my total net profit at the end of this video. In regards to my order from November. My next sale was on January 3rd. It was this new with tag American Eagle women's barrel jeans. Barrel jeans are pretty in right now. In this case, it only sold for $20. I think I probably could have got more for this. However, I got an offer for $20 and I just decided to take it. I was on vacation in December, and so I hadn't made a lot of sales. So I think I was just wanting to get things moving. This actually sold pretty quickly. I want to say within the week or two. I bought it in Hawaii when I was on vacation at a Goodwill. And so this one sold for $20. Order earnings was $16. Cost of goods was $12. And so the net profit was only $4. I would probably pick this up again. I'm not sure at that price point if it was worth it. I don't know how much I could have got for it, but I definitely think I could have got a lot more if I had just been more patient with it. But I did get a 5-star review, so I'm happy that the customer is happy in this case. This is a Crazy Horse sweater. It sold on January 4th. It only sold for $4 because there was a flaw on it. This stain right here. I didn't see this when I bought it. I actually bought it at a garage sale. And when I got home, I noticed it, and so I drastically dropped the price on it. It sold for $4. My order earnings was $1.05. Cost of goods was $3, and so my net profit was actually a net loss at $1.95. I think I probably wouldn't have had a net loss if it didn't have that stain, but I don't know how good of a sweater this was anyway. I probably wouldn't get it again. This is a Woolrich women's flannel. It sold on January 6th for $16. Order earnings was $12.43. Cost of goods, I gave my friend, this was part of the batch of clothes that my friend gave me to sell. So I gave her 40%, which was $4.97. And my net profit was then $7.46. Woolrich can do good, but I think it's pretty oversaturated. I think it depends on what your style is, like right here. And also, I think wool does better than non-wool, like in this case, it was cotton. And so I think you can probably get more depending on what item you have. But in this case, I think it was pretty average. And well, I didn't have anything into it initially because my friend gave it to me. So I'm just happy that it could go to someone that wanted it and that it stayed out of the landfill. This one was an exciting sale. This is a Hollister Y2K Micro Mini. I put skirt in there because it looks like a skirt, but it's actually a skort. This one I saw that, there's the shorts. This one I saw that Ginger Marvin actually sold one of these for quite a lot of money. I want to say it was like $60 or something, so I priced this pretty high because of it, because I wanted to see what would happen. And I got an offer for $35. So this one sold on January 6th for $35. Order earnings was $28.54. My cost of goods was $10 at a Plato's Closet. And then my net profit was $18.54. So I would say this was a good buy. I actually sold some things to Plato's Closet, so I got store credit. So I got more store credit than I would have cash. So it was, so I was able to use that to get, to buy this. And yeah, so I would definitely be on the lookout for skirts like this. Um, I think that you can flip it for a pretty decent amount of money. This one was a Disney long sleeve velour. I would not get this again. This one was on sale at a Goodwill, I believe. It sold only for $12.33. I sold it on January 7th. And so it took a couple months to sell, but surprisingly, it sold after Christmas. So I was trying to get this posted quickly because it had the Christmas theme. So I thought it would sell before Christmas, but it didn't sell till after Christmas, and it um I know Disney can do well depending on what you have, and especially in larger sizes. And this one was a little bit larger size, so that's why I took a shot on it. But this one, I wouldn't do it again. I think you have to have a more substantial or rare piece, and this just wasn't it. So this one sold for $12.33. Order earnings was $10.05. Cost of goods was $4, and so my net profit on this was $6.05. So I was still able to profit on this, which I was happy about. It took a little bit longer than I thought it would sell, and it sold for less than I expected it to sell. Um, Here is the next sale, which was on January 7th as well. It was a cool long sleeve waffle knit cream, size large. I got this at a garage sale. I actually got it for myself, but I decided I didn't want to keep it, so I decided to sell it. This brand can do very well. I actually sold one of my husband's pants from this brand. Here's the logo, and it was torn. The knee was completely torn across, and it still sold, I want to say, for like 20 bucks, even with that flaw. And so I would definitely keep an eye out for this brand, especially in the men's department. So here's the little logo there. Um, but this sold for $24.22. My order earnings was $17.76. My cost of goods, I believe, was $5 at the garage sale. It was quite a while ago, and I wasn't keeping track at that point. But yes, $5, and so my net profit was $14.76. This was my next sale, new with tags, rails, men's flannel, flannel. This one I got at a yard sale for $2, I think. I thought that was a pretty great deal. This one actually retails for a lot of money. You could see here, and it was a 2X, so I had higher hopes for this. It took a while to sell, about 4 months. And I expected it to do a little better, but I think it didn't do too bad overall because the cost of goods was so low. So it sold for $28.08. Order earnings was $22.22. My cost of goods was $2, so my net profit was $20.22, which is generally around what I shoot for. However, it did take a long time to sell, and I had to drop the price a few times. And so I don't know. I would just make sure you research and not have and keep your expectations at bay with these, because just because it retails for a lot doesn't necessarily mean that you can get a lot for it. And that was my mistake there. These are Zero Women's athletic sneakers. These I actually bought in Hawaii when I went to the Goodwills on vacation. There were not a lot in this size, and there were not a lot in this brand, and so that's why I decided to pick it up. These sold very quickly. I want to say like overnight, within a day or two. Um, they sold on an offer for $36. The customer offered it to me, and I accepted it. Order earnings is $28.80. Cost of goods was $14, and my net profit was $14.80. So um, I usually shoot for the $20 mark, but for $14 in a flip like overnight, I was very excited about this. I couldn't believe how quickly it sold. I probably could have got a little bit more money for it if I had waited, but overall, I am very happy with this sale. I'm not sure if all shoes in this brand sell that quickly. I haven't seen this brand until actually this shoe, so. Um, but something to think about if you do see this in the wild, maybe do some research to decide if you're gonna pick it up. My next sale here is this Hoka Mach 5 running shoe, size 7. This was given to me by my mom. And this one was also an offer. This one, somebody offered me $55 for it, and so my order earnings was $44. Since it was given to me, my net profit was $44 on this. For Hoka shoes as a whole, I would be very careful as to what you buy. I have had some Hoka shoes that I believe have been sitting there for a very long time, and I think it's because it's very basic and probably one of the older models. So this one I think is one of the newer ones, and it was barely used. The customer actually reached out to me to see how many times it was used, and my mom said very little, only like a handful of times. And so I think this was a good sale, but yes, just be very careful with this brand. She was happy, the customer was happy with this, with her purchase, so I was very glad to see that. She thanked me for it. So uh, always nice to get a good review when you sell something. This is a Calpac backpack. I actually bought this on Poshmark for my work backpack, and it kind of a little bit, the zipper sometimes worked and sometimes didn't work, so I did disclose that in my um, description. But overall, it was in pretty good shape, and so I wrote some of the flaws down. I did the measurements. I took my own pictures, and it sold actually for $27. I believe that was an offer. It sold on January 17th for $27. My order earnings was $21.60, and I put my cost of goods at zero, so that my net profit is $21.60. I put my cost of goods at zero because I actually used it for work for a while. I just got a new backpack that I replaced it with. So I considered this as my own um, my own backpack. So I didn't I put a cost of goods in there. I believe that I actually bought this on Poshmark for like $20. So it's kind of nice to see that it kind of still held its resale value. And I believe the customer was also very happy with this one. I think I got a 5-star review on this. This is a by Anthropology dress. I actually got this at a consignment store for myself, and I ended up not wanting to keep it. And so that's why I sold it. I think I maybe wore it once. And so this one sold on January 18th for $25. My order earnings was $20. My cost of goods was zero since it was technically mine, and then my net profit was $20 on this. I believe I spent more on this at the consignment store, so I wouldn't necessarily say this was a great purchase, but I did buy it for myself initially, so that's why I had this piece. This was an interesting sale. I got it at a garage sale for I think like $3. I got it because I thought it fit like the Y2K style. And it just goes to show that I'm not good at figuring out what the style is that people desire. But I am happy because I got a really good review from this one. The customer was very happy with this. So this is a new with tags faded rose pink lace trim cami with like bows on it. And so this one sold on January 18th for $13.72. So not a whole lot. My order earnings was $10.69. My cost of goods was $3, and so my net profit was $7.69. So it was interesting in that it did sell. It was a bummer that it didn't sell for more. I had higher hopes for it. So this is my next sale. It's J. Crew shorts that sold on the same day, January 18th. It's just a black chino shorts. They're very old. They were very worn. These were just ones that I had that I decided to sell. I had newer black J. Crew shorts. And so you can see that's kind of an older label. So these sold for $5. My order earnings is $3.54, and so my net profit was then $3.54 since it was ones that I got. I actually did buy this on Poshmark, and I think I probably paid more for it, or maybe just in a bundle is maybe what happened. I'm not sure, but in any case, just selling off my old clothes. This is a loft. Floral blouse, a long sleeve blouse. This I also had initially bought for myself and also sold on the same day. So this one sold for $8.62. My order earnings was $6.14. And so that was my net profit for this top. And I believe I got good feedback on this one. This was a Dylan's dress, also something that I bought for myself. I guess you can see the trend here. I think I was just maybe cleaning out my closet at this point and trying to get things to sell without having to pay for stuff. I'm not entirely sure, but this one I actually got at the consignment store as well, with that Bioanthropology dress. And so this one sold on January 19th for $19. My order earnings was $15.20, and that is what my net profit was. I think I paid more for this at the consignment store, but I'm just happy that it sold and I got some money back. This one I also bought for myself, so I'd say maybe like half of these sales I bought for myself for January. This one I believe was at a garage sale or a churchyard sale. I think this one I got at. So I think it was actually maybe like $1 or two. I'm not sure. But it's an American Eagle woman's lace-up sweater. It was like bluish grayish. It sold on January 20th for $7, so my order earnings was $4.05. Um, yeah, nothing too crazy to note on this one. I believe I did get a 5-star review on that one as well. This one also was from my closet, so I must have really been cleaning out my closet. This is a 32 degrees plush fleece jacket I bought from Costco. And this one sold also on January 20th for $10. And then my order earnings was $7.05, and that was my net profit. I want to say my guess is that I bought it maybe for like $14, maybe less. I'm not sure. I just was getting things posting. This one is a Nike sports bra that was part of the batch of clothes that my friend gave me. I didn't think I would get too much on this, and I was right. It sold for $5. I think that was an offer. So my order earnings was $2.81. I ended up giving my friend $1.21, and I kept $1.60. All right. This was the most exciting sale that I've had in a while. This was a Fleur du Mal dress that I picked up when I was on vacation in Hawaii. I didn't even want to go thrift store shopping, and my dad convinced me just to go and get out. And we were there for maybe like 15 minutes, and I saw this new with tags on a rack, and I picked it up for $13, and it sold for $160. I probably could have got more on this dress. I saw some sold comps for this dress in this size for, I want to say maybe like $300, $200 and $300. So I'm pretty sure I could have got more on this specific dress. But expensive dresses take longer to sell, and the fact that I got an offer on this within the same month for $160 and I only spent $13 on it, I thought was a great flip. And so I just decided to accept it instead of having to wait another half a year to get maybe $100 more. I don't know that that was the smartest move. Let me know in the comments if you would have waited for this um, to sell at a higher price. But I was very happy that I sold it for that much money on something that I didn't even really want to go thrifting for. So this sold on January 23rd, so less than a month. For $160. My order earnings was $128. Cost of goods, as mentioned before, was 13, and so my net profit was $115. So very good sale. I was super stoked about this one. One, that I found it, and two, that it sold. This one I actually got at the bins. I went once before and was kind of scared of going back. I went to Hawaii and my friend had told me that the bins is like totally her jam. So this is me going back to the bins when I got back here. And I found this little kids Ralph Lauren button down shirt. And it sold very quickly, actually. So this sold on January 24th. So that's 5 days from the time I posted it. So for $16, my order earnings was $13.28. And my cost of goods, I rounded to $2. I generally round up when I consider bins purchases. And so my net profit was $11.28. It wasn't a huge banger, but the fact that it sold so quickly and that my cost of goods was so low from the bins and that I went back to the bins, I think I would say is a win. So I'm pretty excited about this sale. I think it was a pretty good sale. Pretty proud of it. This one is an Ann Taylor tortoise heel ankle boots. These took forever to sell. These are some boots that my auntie gave me. She gave me a whole bunch of clothes. I want to say like a trash bag or two worth of clothes, and most of her items have already sold. This one has just been hanging out. I want to say for like over a year, maybe even more than that. And for whatever reason, they just won't sell. And so I want to say I got an offer on this one for, oh yeah, $5. So I definitely got an offer on this one. And my order earnings was $2.05. And so I ended up giving her $1.25. And so my net profit was 80 cents. I'm not sure why I came up with $1.25 to give her, but I just gave it to her and I just left it at that. So I just kept whatever was left over. I'm not sure if I did it before shipping was taken out or fees were taken out. I'm not entirely sure, but so yeah, just not the jam. This one sold. This was kind of interesting. I bought this I think around during the summer or fall at a garage sale. It was, I believe, in a thrift haul video that I had. With also I bought an Eagles women's cap, which actually that one Plato's Closet picked up. And I think I could have sold it for more online, but that's okay. I got my skirt with that credit. Anyway, I digress. This was a Patriots shirt. It's obviously very plain. I picked it up because of football season. I picked it up because Patriots is a very common, like, people like the Patriots. I don't know anything about football, so what I just said, I don't really know. But I know people that like the Patriots, so that's why I picked it up. And so this one sold, like, I believe just because of the Super Bowl. And I think it was just that it was low enough and it was in decent condition. It didn't sell for a lot of money. It was $7.12. My order earnings was $8, or sorry, $4.83. My cost of goods was $2, and so my net profit was $2.83. This shirt was very plain, and so I don't think I would pick it up again. I think I just didn't really know what to get from that garage sale, and I didn't want to, like, I just wanted to get something from them, and so I think that's what I fell upon. It was this and like the football hat. Football hat was actually new with tags, but this is just very plain, and so I don't think I could have expected a whole lot from it. I think that the fact that it sold, I got lucky, and I think it was just good timing because they were in the Super Bowl. But this one was kind of an interesting sale. I actually bought this when I was in Hawaii as well. I actually bought this from the store. It was very, very discounted, and so that's why I bought it. I wanted to try and test it out to arbitrage. There is a couple. things I bought from Hawaii to try and test out for arbitrage. But this one, I got it on sale for $15. They generally retail for a little bit higher. And so this one I actually sold for $36.65. So my order earnings was $28.65. And with my cost of goods at $15, that leaves me with a net profit of $13.65. So you can see it retails pretty high. So I wasn't entirely sure how this would sell, but I was kind of surprised that it did sell. It sold within what, like 10 days or so, 9 days. And it sold for $36. So for a $13 profit, I don't think that's too bad. The only thing with this one is that I got a request for return on this one because it didn't fit well. And so I don't know if that's why it was on a huge sale. But the buyer didn't return it yet, so we'll see. But I think that maybe I have to be careful on what I am um, buying from them. I don't know. This was the only one I've ever bought from their store, so more to come if I ever try from them again. I just happened to be in their store when I was on vacation and I saw that it was marked down quite a bit, and so that's why I decided to give it a try. This one I also bought for myself, or no, I didn't actually wear this one. This one I just wanted to see how it looked. And I decided right off the bat that I didn't want to keep it for myself. So this one was a Talbot's dress that sold on January 30th for $11. My order earnings was $7, and I guess I did not put the cost of goods because I initially did get it for myself. So this was also from the consignment store. Other than that, not too much to know on this. This one was a Polo Ralph Lauren men's belt. So this one sold on January 31st for $12. Order earnings was $9.65. Cost of goods was $3, leaving me with a net profit of $6.65. This one I think was over a year old. I bought it at the same time of another Polo Ralph Lauren belt. It was, I believe, like a brown, maybe like snake or tortoise skin type of print. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that one sold pretty quickly for a decent profit. So I was kind of surprised that this one didn't sell quicker. I think it might have just been that it was more plain and also maybe had a little bit more damage here. And last but not least, I sold these Noble camo shoes on January 31st. These were a really great sale. These my husband actually found when we went to the thrift store. And they were just in really great condition. And I've actually sold Noble shoes, women's like high top shoes before, and they did okay. They did not great, not bad, but they did okay. And so he was very excited about this find. And when I looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, this is a good one. So this one, I believe, I don't know if this was an offer or not, but it sold for $67.36. So my order earnings was $57.11. Cost of goods was $11, leaving me with a net profit of $46.11. And just noting that this sold within a week. So this was a really, really great sale to flip it for $46 in a week's time span. So I'm not sure that it's the brand because I have sold one before, but not at this price point. And so I don't know for sure what sells of this brand, but I would at least look it up if you see this out in the wild. On top of the fact that they were really in really good condition. I got a review from this guy as well, and he was very, very happy with the shoes. He said, "Clean ass shoes!" Exclamation point. But he did ask me how the condition was before he bought it, so I am glad, very glad that he liked his purchase. And so with that, that is the last of my sales for January. And so my total net profit for January was for January was $427.07, which is higher than both my December and my November what sold videos. You can go back and watch them if you want. I think it was just under $300 for both of them. I think they're both hovering around 280 $290. So this one was significantly more than my other two. Primarily I believe because of that big dress sale, and also I sold a lot of clothes that were my clothes, so the cost of goods was zero on a lot of the items that I did sell. And so if you're following along with the Aloha collection saga of my arbitrage attempt, my total Aloha collection net profit for the month was $9 because it was just that one item. But my total for the entire order that I ordered in November was $187.68 of profit. I actually spent about $322 on my order, and so that gave me about a 58% profit within less than 2 months. I would say even more closer to like a month and a half. So I think that's personally a really great profit. I'm probably going to do that again. I have to be careful because you have to make sure that it's discounted enough that you can make a profit, because you're sinking a lot more money into inventory when you're doing this. And so the fact that I could flip it within a month and a half, I'm very happy with that, especially at a 58% return. I think that's fantastic. But they don't always offer sales that are that large of when I bought it. I want to say it was almost 60% off or something with free shipping. I hit the amount for free shipping. And so something like that. And I also believe that they don't, once they sell out of a certain print, they don't restock it. And I think that worked in my favor. So, but I will keep you guys posted as I do this more. I don't know when their next sale is for this, that big of a sale. So I don't know when I'll buy it next, but next time I do, I will talk about it and let you guys know. My sister also bought a lot of the Aloha collection stuff. She bought significantly more than I did, so she's still working on what she has. I don't even know that she's posted all of them yet. She doesn't do this reselling as intensely as me. But I will keep track of how she's doing and see if I can get some numbers from her to see um, what's happening, especially after the Christmas season, because I think a lot of my sales were because of Christmas. I'm not 100% sure, but that is my guess. And also, I know that it was, I actually went to this brick and mortar store in Hawaii and they were sold out of a lot of different styles and prints. Like, so the duffels were pretty much sold out. The backpacks were pretty much sold out. There were maybe like a couple. And so I think I got really lucky with my research that I ended up choosing um, really good products to resell. Um, but yeah, so with that, that brings me to the end of January sales. I am working on my February sales video next. And in my last video, I said that I would try to do weekly what sold videos, but I'm thinking that at the rate I'm going, I may not get to that for a while. So at least for next one, it'll be an entire month of February, and then we will see where that puts us by the time that I can get that video out. But if you've watched this far, thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to subscribe if you'd like to follow along with my monthly sales. I have been doing this seriously maybe for like a year or two or so, but I have just started trying to like actually watch my numbers and actually try to source more. I'd say I tried to more seriously source about a year ago, going to yard sales and trying to get lower costs of goods and all that stuff. And so, and I only do this part-time, so it's just in my free time aside from my full-time job. So, um, I would say this is pretty realistic. I don't kill myself over it. I do enjoy it, so I do spend a lot of time on it. But I also make sure to have fun. Like I just went on vacation, or I just got back from vacation less than a week ago and I was on vacation for a while. So which actually makes me think my February sales are not going to be that good because I was gone for a while. Um, but with that, have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next one.